On the next page, adding and subtracting fractions. Step 1. Must get a common denominator. To get a common denominator, find the least common multiple of the denominators. The least common multiple, and I'm going to abbreviate least common multiple with LCM. Okay? LCM, least common multiple. That least common multiple becomes the new denominator. Yeah. As long as you understand your abbreviations, yes, abbreviate. Find equivalent fractions with the new denominator. And then finally, add or subtract the like fractions. Now, unless you're familiar with fractions at all, which some of this stuff you should be familiar with some of the terminology, but unless you're familiar with it, it might sound like a foreign language. So, let's break it down. Example. Let's say we have 3/5 plus 1/4. Step 1. What do we do in step 1? Gabby?
Get a common denominator.
I'm sorry. To get the common denominator, what do? How do you get the common denominator? Dad?
Find the least common multiple of the
All right, well, we're going to find the least common multiple. So, how do we find the least common multiple? We're going to list the multiples of the denominator. So we're going to list the multiples of 5 and 4. Multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Do they stop at 30? No, multiples never end. Multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I can stop at 20 because 20 is the least common. It's the smallest one that's in both sets. So now that's step 1. We have found the least common multiple. That least common multiple is going to become our new denominator. Okay? Step 2. You can put it down below, I'll just put it over here. Step 2. Find equivalent fractions with the new denominator. Now, I want you to write this problem up and down. 3/5 plus 1/4. Our least common multiple was what? 20. So now that's going to become our new denominator. And so you're going to put 3/5 equals something over 20, and 1/4 equals something over 20. And we're going to get equivalent fractions. Now, 5 times what equals 20? 4. Since we took the denominator times 2, we're now going to take the numerator, took the denominator times 4, we're going to take the numerator times 4. So now we're going to take 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is? 12. I want you to write these down like times 4 and times 4 because I want to make sure that you visually see that you're multiplying the top and the bottom both times the same thing. Now, in this situation, 4 times what is 20? 5. So we're going to take the top times 5. And 1 times 5 is? 5. Come in. So now, step 3. What is step 3? Add it.
Add or subtract.
We're going to add them. It says here add. So now we're going to add. Now, when we add fractions, the denominator does not change. So the denominator is going to stay 20. All we're going to do is add the numerators. Add or subtract the numerators. And so we're going to add 12 plus 5, which is 17. And so your answer will be 17 over 20. Yeah. Cold. I think it's still humid in here. Okay. Fine. My goal in life is to make you guys happy.
They make me happy and say this. Yeah, it does feel good.
Okay? Now, just to prove, some people say, well, why can you change that 3/5 into 12/20? You don't need to worry about doing this, but let's say we have this rectangle. Now it says 3/5, so I'm going to break this into 5 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And it says 3/5. So that means that 3 out of 5 are colored in. Right? Now, if I took this exact same rectangle, if I broke them into 5 sections again, but now this time, let's say that I'm going to, instead of this, I'm going to do that. whole thing was colored in, right? This whole one is colored in, right? And this whole one is colored in. Agreed? Now, how many sections are colored in this column? 4. This column.
4.
This column.
4.
4 plus 4 plus 4 is what?
12.
12. 12 out of the total of how many? 20. The same amount is colored in here, it's 3/5, as is colored in this one. It just happens now, instead of it broken into 5 sections, this whole thing is broken into 20 sections. So, 3/5 and 12/20 is the exact same amount. Equivalent fractions are fractions if you multiply the top and the bottom, or divide the top and the bottom by the same thing, they are equivalent fractions, means the exact same amount, but you must multiply or divide the top and the bottom by the same thing. Here, I multiplied the top and the bottom both by 4. Since I multiplied the top and the bottom both by 4, that means that these two are equivalent. Here, since I multiplied the top and the bottom both by 5, that means that 1/4 and 5/20 are equivalent. As long as you can multiply or divide the top and the bottom by the same number, they are equivalent fractions. Okay? So how do you get equivalent fractions? By either multiplying or dividing the top and the bottom by the same number. Good? Okay, get your boards out. One half minus 1/3. Now, okay, step 1. We need to get a common denominator. How do we get a common denominator? Find the least common multiple. On the bottom, on your board, I want you to find the least common multiples of the denominators. Just like here is step 1. Okay, we're going to do the same thing for 1/2 minus 1/3. You're going to list the multiples of the denominators, find the least common multiple. The first one is always itself. Okay? The first multiple is always itself. Where's your board? Did you find the least common multiple?
What?
Did you?
I'm looking.
Okay? Multiples of 2 are what? Class? 2, 4.
6, 8, 10.
Stop. Multiples of 3 are?
3, 6.
Stop there, because I have my least common multiple.
Yeah.
So 6 is the least common multiple. Now, what's the next thing that I want you to do?
Put it down.
We're going to write the problem up and down. So we're going to write 1/2 minus 1/3. Now, what are we going to do with that 6? It's going to be our denominator. So we're going to put equals something over 6 equals something over 6. Okay, now, I want you guys to do just like we did here. I want you to get the equivalent fractions. Just like we did here, Fabian. You're going to do the same thing on yours. Question?
Does a common number mean an even number?
No, common means it's in both. Common denominator, a common multiple, or if it's not, I was only partially learning. Common means that they're in both groups. Okay, least common multiple is the smallest number that's in both groups. Okay, it doesn't always have to be an
So
even
it's
number.
the same denominator, like a common denominator is the same.
The common multiple becomes your common denominator. Okay? Common multiple means that you're listing the multiples and you find the smallest number that's in both sets. Does that make sense? What's the smallest number that's in both sets?
6.
That's why it's already a common multiple. If you kept on going, it doesn't matter. Is there gonna be any numbers smaller? No, because the numbers keep on getting bigger. So that's why I stopped at the 6, because the numbers kept on getting larger. Okay, I just wanted to find the least, the smallest. Okay, so this was, once you find the first numbers that repeat, that are in both sets, you can stop at that point because that is the least common multiple. And then that least common multiple becomes our least common denominator. Okay? Okay, so, I told you guys to get equivalent fractions. Eyes up here. To do that, 2 times what is 6? 3. So now we have to take the top times what? 3. 1 times 3 is? 3. So 1/2 is the same as 3/6. Now, down here, 3 times what is 6? 2. We take the top times what? 2. 1 times 2 is? 2. And so now we have like fractions where the denominators are the same. Now that you have 3/6 minus 2/6, and since we're subtracting, go ahead and subtract them. You don't need to rewrite it, you already have it here. 2 times what is 6? What times 3? Take the top times what? Take the top times what? 1 times 3 is? Write that down. 3 times what is 6? 2. So we take the top times what? 1 times 2 is? And now subtract them. And when you subtract, we only subtract the numerators. So 3 minus 2 is 1. The denominators stay the same, and you end up with 1/6. You're ready, so let's do another one. Let's do 1/9 plus 2/3. Step 1. What is step 1? Go ahead and find the least common multiple. Nope, Camden. Nope. I didn't see your own date.
I forgot which one.
Forgot your name.
No, I forgot which one the logo was.
You don't need to keep going, baby. Catch the other one up. Okay, so we're gonna first list the multiples of what? Keegan.
8. Well, we're gonna list the
Multiples.
multiples of 9. And
Okay, we're gonna list the multiples of 9. So go ahead and start listing them.
18.
Stop. Nope. First one is 9. First one's always itself.
Then 18.
Keep going.
Then 27.
Stop there. I'm not gonna go any farther because I'm gonna list the multiples of 3. And I got a long way to go to catch up to 27. So the multiples of 3 are?
3.
Keep going.
6.
Keep going.
9.
Stop. Why did I stop there, Keegan?
Because isn't that half of no, that's the other,
It's in both groups, right? Right? That's the least common multiple. Okay? Now, take your problem, write it up and down, and get equivalent fractions. Go ahead. check your bottom fraction. Write down what you're multiplying. Write down what you're multiplying the top and the bottom both by. Check your multiplication here. I don't think your multiplication's right. That means your answer's not right. Let's look up here. Eyes up here. What's our denominator going to be? 9. So equals something over 9 equals something over 9. Everybody have that? Yes. Now, what people are not doing is this. 9 times what equals 9?
1.
Did you write times 1?
Yes.
Now, what else are you supposed to do?
Write times 1 on top of
Take the top times 1. 1 times 1 is? 1. I took the top and the bottom both times the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, in the bottom one, 3 times what is 9?
3.
3. Did you write times 3?
Yeah.
Now, what are we going to do? What are we going to take the top times?
3.
3. Both times the same thing. 2 times 3 is? 6. 2 times 3 is 6. So now you should have 1/9 plus 6/9. And now go ahead and add them. I want to see you write times 3 times 3. Okay? And your answer would be 7/9. Two times 3 is 6. What's 1 times 1? 1 times 1. Yeah. Now 1 plus 6 is? 1 plus 6 is 7. There you get your 7/9. Let's do another one. Three-fourths minus 1/3. Go ahead and do this one all on your own. Step by step by step. Do step 1. Get your common multiple. Do step 2. Get your equivalent fractions. And then step 3. Add or subtract, whatever it tells you to do. Write the problem up and down, David. Let's stop where you're at right now. Just put your markers down. First thing everybody should have done so far is what? Nate?
Find the least common multiple.
Got the least common multiple. So you listed the multiples of 4 and 3. Multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16. Multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12. And so far everybody should have gotten the least common multiple of 12. Okay, keep going. Dave and Rich problem up and down. That's out of it. Okay, let's stop. Let's See where we're at so far. What's the next thing we should do? Ted?
Write them up and down.
Write the problem up and down. 3/4 minus 1/3. What's the next thing we should do? Trent?
Put the denominator, which is the 12.
Put the denominator as 12. Finish your problem up. Did you write the problem up and down? David, did you write the problem up and down? Where? Okay, let's check now. That's still not right. So now, we need to get equivalent fractions. 4 times what is 12? 3. So we take the top times 3. How many people did that? 3 times 3 is?
9.
9. Now, 3 times what is 12?
3.
4. Take the top times. 4. Derek, how many people wrote times 4 both times? 1 times 4 is? 4. Now we have our equivalent fraction. We have like fractions. Now we subtract. 9 minus 4 is? 5. Denominator is? 12. Doesn't change. Your answer is 5/12. Now, we have done 3 examples. Basically, you can consider this, but we've done 4 examples. Each time, I've done it the exact same way. Math is a what class? Pattern. You solve every problem in the exact same way. That way you learn the pattern. Less the multiples. Write the problem up and down. Make the new change the least common multiple to your new denominator. Get equivalent fractions. Then add or subtract. Every single one is done the exact same way. If you do it enough times, it becomes a habit. Okay? One more. Oh my. There's no such thing as a difficult problem. 3/5 plus. That's good. 3/5 minus 1/4. Did I?
Did the adding.
Oh, hold on, erase it then. I don't want to use it. Okay, let's go with this one. 2/3 minus 2/5. That's okay. 2/3 minus 2/5. Maybe brain exercise creates you also. Exactly.
Talking so fast, Mike.
Question, Gavin, or Abby? Did you find one yet? Stop. Write the problem up and down, baby. Write the problem up and down. Baby, why is this so difficult? 2/3 minus 2/5. Okay? Babe, what's the first thing we do? Kelton, first thing we're going to do.
Common denominator. Find least common multiple of the denominator.
So we're going to list the multiples of 3 and 5. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15. I can stop because 15 is in the other one. So these come multiples 15. Now what am I going to do, Fabian?
And you're gonna write it up and down. Two
2/3
2/3
minus.
minus 2/5.
Now, that 15 was the least common multiple. What am I going to do with that 15?
Pages side of it.
That becomes my new denominator. Alright? Now, 3 times what is 15?
5.
So what else am I going to do?
You're gonna do 2 times 5 minus 15, and then 15 times 2.
Nate,
Put times 5 on the top.
put times 5 on the top. Two times 5 is what? 10. Now, put times 5. Now what am I going to do, Fabian?
And we're gonna have the 2. Then do 4 times 3.
5 times 3 is 15. So then what? Not 5 times 15. 5 times 3. Then what are you going to do?
2 times 3 is 6.
You're going to take the top times 3. And that is?
It's 6.
And now what are you going to do?
And then you're gonna subtract.
Subtract them. And you get? Don't need to rewrite it. Hey, Fabian, don't rewrite it. You already have it there. What are we subtracting?
10 and 9.
Fabian, look here. What number am I subtracting?
Subtracting.
Alexa.
Subtracting 10, 15.
Well, just something. I'm subtracting what numbers?
The top numbers. 10,
So,
4.
I'm subtracting what?
The 10, 15 is minus 6, 15.
Okay, but I'm just simply subtracting the numerators 10 and 6.
Yeah, you said that.
You said 10, 15.
I said 10 and 6.
Oh, did you? You said 4.
Yeah, as the answer.
Oh, did you? Okay. So 10 minus 6 is 4. Give me an answer of 415. Sorry, that is heard to the 4. What?
I just figured this out. If you just multiply them, it gives you the answer.
Okay, I was waiting for somebody to say that.
Not
Okay.
All the time.
Okay. Eyes up here, real quick. If I had this, Camden, 1/6 plus 3/8. Going on your theory, what's the least amount common multiple going to be? 48. But if we list the multiples of 6 and 8, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 8, 16, 24, 32, 48. Yes, 48 is a common multiple. However, the least common multiple is 24. When you multiply them, and we're going to talk about that later, when you multiply the denominator, it will give you a common one, but it will not always be the least common. When we're adding and subtracting, you want to find the least common, because if not, later on we're going to be doing something that's going to create an extra step. Alexa.
You wrote 12 instead of 6.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. Thank you. Elton.
Just be clear, they will never never be two, common denominators, right? There'll never be two.
There's a lot of common ones, but we want to find the least
No,
common.
I meant one problem.
Oh, so you mean like 1/9 minus 2/9? Something like that.
Now, what's your question?
Do you mean that
The
say
whole
it has
purpose
the
is
same
we need to get the denominators to be the same. They must be the same.
Are you
Is that
saying
it?
like what if they're already the same?
I didn't either. Okay. Your homework.
I get this really painful.
Trying to give you one.
You didn't give us a paper.
Oh, yeah. Abby, should you say
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
You don't get it.
Okay, page 24. First thing I want you to do, cross out the word estimate. We're not doing any estimating right now. So then when you come down here, cross out the word estimate, because we're not going to estimate down here. So you're going to do 13 through 18, 20, 23, 24, 26, 28, 29, 31, and then let's do 35 and 36. Now, if you choose to do 33 and 34, okay, for extra credit, in number 33, you see the word about?
Yeah.
Cross out the word about. Because anytime you see the word about, that means estimating. We're not estimating right now. Also, number 34, it says about. About how many more? Cross out the word about. Because once again, we're not worried about, I'm not worried about at this point estimating. Okay? If you want to do the others as extra credit, that is fine. Okay, go ahead. Give you guys about 10 minutes to work on this. We have to.